Hey guys, how's it going? Um, Today I want to talk about that sometimes you it's all right to start over. Sometimes when you're trying to accomplish a goal and for whatever reason you don't reach your goal or you do reach your goal and something happens, you have to start over. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes to go forward, you got to go backwards. Sometimes to progress, you got to regress. And let me give you an example right now. For example, right now in the gym, um, I go like three to four times a week. And since I know I have to take the next day off, and I don't want to take a risk taking the next day off, and then the other day after that, for whatever reason, I can't go because something comes up. So what I try to do is try to do somewhat of a full body workout. So I do push, pull, and then I'll do like the leg press or something like that. Like I try to do shoulders, back, some arms, chest. A mix up of all in one day. I mean, it's not ideal, but I am seeing some progress, and I did accomplish some goals that I do want to accomplish. Um, the way I'm measuring my gym right now. Like, I'm not really cutting or anything like that. I measure it right now. Like every time I go, I try to increase my bench press by reps. And the way I've been working with was 225, and I built to that weight. Like I started with like 175, repping it out, 15 to 20 reps. Once I got to 20 easy, then I increased and like that, and so on. And right now I'm doing 225. The most I've done it is 10. I haven't tried to do it more than that, but I ran into some issue last time I went to the gym. I believe it was yesterday, Sunday. Um, I kind of having this pain in my shoulder blade, my tricep, and my shoulder. I think I might have like an impinged nerve or something. And it didn't happen on the bench press. It happened while I was doing pull-ups, and I'm pretty heavy. I was doing 10 reps of pull-ups. I'm 210, and I was just, kind of just throwing myself up there, trying to get the 10 reps. And that caused me to get injured. And even when I try to do one, like nice and control, I still feel it. So I'm going to stay away from that. And I mean, pulling yourself up 210 pounds is a good weight to gain strength. But what see, this goes back to my main topic, that sometimes you have to go back to go forward. So sometimes you got to regress to progress. So now, instead of doing pull-ups, I do like the lat pull downs. That's like kind of the same thing, but obviously pull-ups is more beneficial. But I do weights, the lat pull down, and I try to do that cable lat pull down, that is, with a bar. I try to get that like I put like 160, and I'll do it like 10 to 15 reps, nice and control, for like 3 sets. So yeah, and then now for the bench press, I haven't hit 225 for 10 reps in like 2 weeks. I've been getting 8, 9, and then recently Sunday, I stopped at 7. I didn't feel good, so now I'm gonna have to regress on my bench press too. I'm gonna have to cut the weight down to maybe 185 and rep that out. I'm gonna do like 15 to 20 reps a set. Ideal. I'll probably get that like the first 2 sets, and I'm gonna go for five sets. I know it's a lot of volume, but I really like to push myself. So I'm gonna do that for like 5 sets. I'll probably get anywhere between 17 and 20 of 185 on the bench press the first set, and then probably the second anywhere 12 to 15. And as I get tired eventually, like the last sets, I expect anywhere from like 7 to 10 reps. But that's all right, because I'm getting a lot of work, a lot of volume done. So yeah, so this doesn't only apply to fitness. Right now I'm using like my fitness as an example. It also applies to finances, because you could be on a goal to reach, let's say you want to save 100K, and let's say you fall short and you only reach 50K, And then you might need to have another strategy to get to 50K quicker. You learn something along the way to get to 50K. Now you have to start all over. And you say, well, I'm going to put this 50K away and I'm going to start all over. Or you might reach 100K, which is your goal, and then an emergency happens. Or let's say you run a business and God forbid you go bankrupt or whatever happens, or some emergency in your business or a family emergency or whatever. Now you're left with zero again. And that's all right. That's all right. Because if you look at society, sometimes, when there's a natural disaster in a city, that's when the city progresses the most. Or, take for example, like, let's say Hiroshima. It's a huge city today, but, it was nuked at one point. But look, they had to start all over. I mean, it was very tragic. A lot of lives were lost. But they started all over. They rebuilt. And, it might not always be the same, but you built yourself back up. Throughout history, there's been wars. Lands get captured. The United States didn't always look like this. It wasn't the same territories, the same states. Great Britain at one point, owned a lot more land than they do now. They had a lot more territories conquered, and their influence is all over the world. But right now they're not as big. But that's all right, because sometimes things happen, and you gotta be ready to rebuild yourself. So when, let's say you're married, and God forbid you gotta go to a divorce, you gotta rebuild yourself. You're in a relationship, the girl leaves you, you gotta move on, or you got to do something, but you just can't just say, oh, I'm going to give up. So the message is, guys, be ready for adversity. Be ready for whatever happens. And sometimes it's not a bad thing, because if you lose everything, people go through wars, natural disasters around the world. And what happens is you see those cities that get hit with a natural disaster, or get hit even with a man-made disaster. You see them rebuild themselves and flourish. And even countries that go through war. The United States, went through the Civil War, the Revolution. We've been in wars in other countries. And those countries that we invaded, or whatever happened, whatever war went over there, they rebuilt themselves. Germany went through war. Most of Europe went through war. And, it looked like, hey, this is it, the world's over, but they rebuilt themselves. So apply that same concept to yourself. When you're the most down, take that as motivation to rebuild yourself even better, and prepare yourself for the worst, even after you do rebuild yourself. And once you do rebuild yourself, you're gonna even feel better than when you were before. Even if you don't reach the same level, you're gonna understand that, hey, listen, whenever I was down, I was able to come back up and build myself back up. So yeah, guys, so keep that in mind. Sometimes to progress, you gotta regress. To go forward, you gotta go backwards. All right? So, but yeah, guys, that's it for today.